In this series, we look at some of the pragmatics and practicalities around the implementation of artificial intelligence, AI, using proven business practices on a risk-based approach. Whether a business is a two-person operation or a 35,000 global operation, the need to implement and manage AI is present or emerging. As the size, type, location, market, business sector varies, so does our rate, type, scale, and complexity of the response to AI. This session looks at further aspects of the organizational response for the integration of AI into services and operations. In this session, we look at small, medium, and large organizations, whether business, not-for-profit, government, or institutional. An industry-specific look is addressed in a different session. Obviously, there is a lot of ground to cover, and the detailed aspects unique to a business are beyond the scope of such a series. But the intent is to paint a picture of what is needed, varying with the business and its dynamic environment. Let's get into it. Organizational. In talking to people, I get asked about how artificial intelligence applies to their business. Some recognize the need to integrate AI. Some are worried about the cost. Some are not sure of how to move forward. And others are waiting and seeing. All of these are appropriate responses, whether it is a small business, a large government agency, a not-for-profit, or an educational provider. The concern over the hype, the magic pudding, the fear of missing out, the concern about doing things wrong, all apply and are part of the response. At the appropriate time, the businesses and organizations are set to make staged, incremental, pragmatic, practical use of AI based on their needs. Some guidance around the use of AI at the organizational level is provided. Varying response commensurate with need. The implementation of artificial intelligence will change over time with the technology, the experience gained, and variations in the business environment. The organizational type, business, government, agency, not-for-profit, the size of the operations, the sector in which it operates, e.g. healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, logistics, etc., as well as the related areas, are all of impact. The market, the locations of a business will also determine the nature of the response and use of AI. Other factors like regulation, legal regimes, industry standards are also impacted. Managing areas of artificial intelligence. A business decides that it needs to adopt artificial intelligence. A decision to research, investigate, pilot, as well as the need and the best way to implement is made. The rigor, formality, and the process and stages involved is going to vary with the business. How they get the required information and how the decisions are made also varies. This is an extension of what a business currently does. The cost of the work and the profit and loss during the transition with the ongoing services are to be managed. The financial management, the reporting, the liabilities, and other financial aspects like cash flow, liquidity, and debt are impacted and varying with the business. Again, the rigor, the analysis, the monitoring, the reporting and management vary. The use of existing processes should apply, but with an extension of capacities and capabilities as required. The risk of not responding, the risk in responding, the risk in managing the change, the risk in balancing operations, the risk of outcomes being less than desired are all to be managed. The formality, rigor, analysis, and management of the risk varies and is often an extension of existing practices. The need to sustain operations while making any changes is required. From slowing the transformation to managing extra costs to revised operations management, the business response varies accordingly. Customers, staff, stakeholders, vendors, channel partners, agencies, regulators need to be managed through the process. The extent, type, level of engagement and impacts are managed within business now according to need, and this is likely to carry forward within the use of artificial intelligence. Resource management is required to sustain business while making the changes with time away from business, costs, and priority management. Resources will need to be able to use AI, to be able to assure the AI outcomes and manage businesses around AI, as well as partial staged implementations. The hiring will need to assure the competency in the use of AI, as well as bring the real skills without being reliant upon AI, e.g. testing developers to write code without AI as well as with AI. This is a change to existing practices relevant across business types, size, sectors, locations, and markets. While the regulatory regime around AI is often still to be developed and will change, the existing regulatory regimes apply. Operations using AI will need to align with the existing regime. Businesses will vary the processes, procedures, policies, controls, and reporting as required. This is an extension of existing business activities. Another area to be impacted is legal. From revised service contracts, new clauses, additional services, vendor and customer changes, and new litigation, the needs of the business to respond to legal requirements varies. Changes to operations are a major area of business impact, which again varies with the business need. Having the capacity and capability to be ready for the changes and to support the changes, business, technology, customer, are an extension and enhancement of existing activities, but need to be managed. In the changes, the need to enable a business to manage and use the changes is required. The solution needs to manage errors and exceptions. In addition, the changes need to handle the nefarious, whether accidental or deliberate. Selected aspects are considered in further sessions. Artificial intelligence within services. Across the business, there is the need to manage the support services, the shared services, the operational specific services, and the risk management and assurance of services. Again, the business need and responses are set to vary and is often an extension of the existing activities that is required. Support services used across a business and are the support functions within business areas to enable the use of AI in operations. Part of the functioning is to use AI in supporting others with their use and management of AI. A main area of activity is the engagement for skilling, ability to do, training, how to do, and the awareness on the AI and the use of AI. Shared services. The services provided across the business forming the AI utilities which are commonly used within business functions. Operational specific. These are functions within specific business areas applied with a dependency upon support and shared services. The operational specific may vary with industry, like inspection software within manufacturing or document management within a legal business. Risk and assurance, needed across business operations to manage risk in the implementation and operation of AI, as well as in the surety of outcomes and operations from AI. Operational considerations. For business, there are some common operational considerations. Public solutions. Where public AI solutions are used, please consider what details are being included. It is good practice to avoid information that includes privacy, commercial in confidence, or sensitive information. How are the details being used within the software? The analogy is that a business has responded to social media with policies and procedures, and similar will be required for AI. What happens to your information? Will your information be used by others for competitive or nefarious reasons against you and your business? The measures taken to protect information are set to be extended to support AI. What copyright implications and intellectual property considerations are at play with the risk of loss of revenue or legal actions against a business? Hiring. Employees will need to know how to use AI in their operations and being able to intervene when things go wrong. Skills are still needed that should exist without the use of AI. The hiring processes needs to manage these differences, e.g. those reviewing and writing contracts are tested for both the use of AI and without the use of AI. The relevance of the pilot and the autopilot model is seen. Data provision. A lot of AI is about using large information sources created by people and applying algorithms to learn and interpret from the data provided. Analysis is undertaken and predictions made within the models used. The access to data, the quality of data, the matching of data sources, the permissions for use of data, and more are to be governance. The overall management of AI is required. The main area is skilling, the ability to do, and the training, the how to do of the teams impacted and how they interact with others. Assuring that the processes and procedures are followed is also required. While a 1 or 2 person operation is likely to do many of these intuitively, it is when multiple areas of the business with more stakeholders where the challenges start to occur. Areas of artificial intelligence within operations. While the business needs vary, like agriculture requiring AI-specific solutions, or manufacturing for assembly line management and operations, we see common areas likely for automation and AI, including addressing emerging efficiencies and cost savings, quality assurance, the quality assurance of AI outcomes and the use of AI in outcomes assurance. point solution management, the staged incremental application of AI at set points. Exceptions identification, the need to manage exceptions and errors coming from AI and the use of AI in the handling of exceptions. Routine processing, greater use of AI in routine processing from agriculture to manufacturing to medical diagnosis to mortgage processing. Decision making, use of AI to make decisions within processes and operations. All of these are to be addressed through staged, pragmatic, incremental, practical solutions varying with business need, type, size, market, sector, location, and emerging technology and regulatory. Areas of opportunity. Consider a manufacturing business which is focused on its core competency but may seek help from external parties around aspects of the implementation of AI. This leads to new business services opportunities, including education services. Opportunities are mainly seen in the skilling, ability to do, and training how to do, of various aspects from the use of AI through advisory to industry and the emergence of industry standards with accreditation and certification. Data services, a range of advisory and services around the provision, use, access, and quality of data used in AI. Governance, the overall management of AI solutions with services including audit, risk, and assurance. Employment, the required changes in the hiring processes to ensure the required capacities and capabilities. The pilot and autopilot model underpins the offerings. These and other opportunities exist for the development and application of AI. Organizational. Some of the many organizational aspects have been outlined to give a sense of the needs, opportunities, and what is needed on the ground to realize the outcomes from AI. There are many other areas covered in other parts of the series. May this series be of value. Thank you for your time. Please share with others. Feel free to subscribe and add your comments. May you realize the benefits of AI for your needs.